The black woman is the most unprotected, disrespected person on earth.
Fierce opposition and protesters outraged.
Under Kentucky state law, this is an unlawful assembly.
Chaos at demonstrations in Louisville and marches happening across the nation after the decision not to charge officers with murder in Breonna Taylor's death.
Justice is not often easy, does not fit the mold of public opinion.
Here in Colorado, a peaceful gathering to send a clear message.
Despite our disappointment, our anger, our frustration with the way things went, we're not giving up.
Not giving up until change is made. Tonight, the Coloradans who are demonstrating say this is not the outcome they'd hoped for. Protesters taking to the streets across the country and in Colorado. In fact, this is a live look now from Air Tracker 7 at the crowds gathering in downtown Denver. They've now moved right in front of Denver Police District 6 substation.
They marched and they chanted tonight for several hours, furious over the news that only one of the officers involved in Breonna Taylor's death has been indicted, and it's not for murder. The other two officers won't face any criminal charges.
And in just the last 30 minutes, Air Tracker 7 caught protesters. Take a look at this. They're swarming around this car, and then the car takes off, nearly runs over some of the people in that crowd. Nobody was hurt. Denver police were able to stop the car. They have detained the driver. It's not clear right now if any charges will be filed.
Now back to Louisville tonight. It was chaos. Things were set on fire. At least 2 police officers were shot. In fact, listen to the moments those gunshots rang out.
So at this hour, both of the officers rushed to surgery, are in stable condition. One suspect is in custody. The National Guard has been deployed there in Louisville, and there is a 9 p.m. curfew, and that will remain in effect for 72 hours.
Demonstrations also took place tonight on the streets of New York, Milwaukee, Atlanta, Washington, D.C., just to name a few. So to back up here, here's a quick recap of today's developments. Former Louisville officer Brett Hankison is now facing 3 counts of wanton endangerment for shooting into Taylor's apartment, charged because the bullets threatened people in neighboring units.
Today, the Kentucky Attorney General said Taylor's boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, fired the first shots, hitting that officer, and that's when officers returned fire.
He says that the male was holding a gun, arms extended, in a shooting stance. Sergeant Mattingly saw the man's gun fire, heard a boom, and immediately knew he was shot.
Walker says he was fired. He fired a warning shot from his legally owned gun because police did not announce themselves before barging into the apartment to serve a search warrant. The Kentucky AG says a civilian witness did hear police announce themselves.
The attorney for Breonna Taylor's family called this decision outrageous and offensive, saying this is, quote, another example of no accountability for the genocide of persons of color by white police officers.
You pray every day that this racist criminal justice system and legal system that I call the legalized genocide of colored people will be abolished in America.
And now we want to get out to Denver 7's Gary Brode. And Gary, people in Denver took to the streets downtown tonight. They were outraged and they wanted to share their message during tonight's march.
Yeah, and those we talked to were shocked, they were disappointed, and they were angry at the decision. Certainly it didn't go the way that they wanted. Protesters we talked to say while it wasn't the right decision, the message hasn't changed. They want change now.
After the verdict, it was important to have our voices heard in honor of Breonna.
Many here in front of the Capitol in disbelief as the decision came in from Louisville.
Because it matters to me. Today wasn't justice. That's not what justice looks like.
But it's not surprising, it's disappointing.
Karen Roberts-Grissom helped organize tonight's events.
The black woman is the most unprotected, disrespected person on earth, and it shouldn't be that way.
As day turned to night, this protest went from the Capitol to the streets.
Black Lives Matter!
President Trump praised Kentucky's Attorney General, saying he is doing a fantastic job, calling him brilliant and a star.
I understand he's called up the National Guard, which is a good thing. I think it's a very positive thing. And it'll all work out.
Denver Nuggets coach Mike Malone calling the decision tragic.
It also makes me think a lot closer to home and Elijah McClain and a lot of players on our team especially have also spoken out on justice for Breonna Taylor, and we have not gotten that justice.
Demonstrators are adamant, while it's a setback, it's not the end.
And despite our disappointment, our anger, our frustration with the way things went, we're not giving up. And this will not end until change happens.
I want to take you back to that video of the driver who went through the protesters about 45 minutes ago. We were right in the area as it happened. Now, that driver was parked right in front of the Capitol, right here on Lincoln. You saw him going through a few of those protesters, then turning onto Colfax from Lincoln, but he didn't get very far. Police stopped him right at Broadway in Lincoln, one block over from there. We did see that person, that driver, was detained, put in handcuffs. We're told by police, not arrested at this point. They are still investigating that incident. Reporting live here in Denver, Gary Brode, Denver 7.
Gary, thank you.